Hello, happy Wednesday to you, Wednesday, 12th of January 2022. I'm going to look at Sun in the 11th and 12th house for, um, David Bowie, I think it is, and the other one is Angelina Jolie. Now, I've got to tell you that Sun obviously is most comfortable in the 10th house. 10th house being the house of career and karma, because Sun is the planet of vibrancy and light. Therefore, it works really well when it is actually completely exposed. And the 10th house is the highest point of your chart, is what people see. And so that therefore you can see that it doesn't do so well in the fourth house because it's the opposite house, the fourth house. And so there could be issues. There could be like trying to lead the mother if it's a man, it could be just like a bit of trying to run the home like work, if you like. The other place that's not very good for the sun is the 12th house, because 12th house is very, very secret, very secret. So if you've got planet in there, they could be like secret enemies, things like that. When the sun is in there, it is like this is like nighttime, isn't it? You're going to bed, sleep. You can see through that. So this is a very, very difficult placement. This is actually a bit of a dosh, what they call in Vedic astrology, is like difficult things attached to it. So, and I don't want you to worry about this kind of things, because it does always, things like this, we always get to learn. Sometimes for us, if Sun is in the 12th house, it could mean that the father wasn't present, you were brought up by somebody who was not necessarily your own dad. And if it's connected to their 10th house, to in some ways, it could be that you will be going abroad to work, that kind of stuff. So, whereas in the many years ago, obviously, when these texts were written, it was very taboo for people to move away from their homeland. It was like you did that really because there was some level of scandal or something going on. It's not like that anymore, but it is a father indication. So it tells you a lot about fathers and tells you about the masculine energy within you as well. And, moon is the feminine energy within us. So it's very important to know these things, and particularly, when you read in a chart. So if I wouldn't worry about this so much in a woman's chart, but in a man's chart, I will be concerned if somebody's sun is in the 12th house. I'd want to kind of get to know them quite well if it was a love kind of thing for you. And particularly always be aware of a man who has, this doesn't apply to the ladies as much, this is more for men. So sorry about these guys, but when a man has, sun is your soul and it's your consistency. And women need to know that men are consistent because we want to have children and we want to have a home and family. So having a man who is inconsistent, 12th house sun can be inconsistent, particularly if he's connected with Rahu, and it will be difficult with Ketu as well. But definitely know that if this is a situation, it's like a man like with Sun in Sun Rahu, if you have that, these are the type of guys you will be, or if you know a man who has this, just be aware of that kind of thing going into a relationship. Really take your time going in as much as you can. So, so basically, just wanted to say that, and also if Rahu is placed 10 houses away from the sun, that again says that they are like a little bit confused about what their role is in this. And for women to be able to actually have a decent relationship, they need to know about the man's agenda, if you like. Right, let's share the charts. I'm just going to cut myself up. Oh, I might actually cough, guys, sorry. Excuse me. Right, we're going to start with Angelina Jolie. So Angelina Jolie is a Cancer ascendant. She's got her 4th and 11th lord in the first house, Venus. So obviously she looks very Venetian, doesn't she? She is beautiful. So and so you can see here that Sun is in the 11th house, also in a sign of Venus. And what that tells you is that obviously is the father, her father was actually is also an actor. He's a really nice man actually. He's quite a religious man, but they have had issues from day one together. You know, so she doesn't get on very well with her dad, and they've had periods of not speaking. So that you can see K2B in there that cuts her away from her dad, and it will make it difficult for her to actually communicate with her dad as well, because she's a Cancer ascendant, so actually communication is difficult for her anyway. So um, generally speaking, so here we have a Sun in the 11th house. Sun in the 11th house, actually Sun does pretty well, I would say, the houses either side of the 10th house, because 10th house is where he gets directional strength, so it's very focused, very able to deliver. But it also does pretty well in what would be the 9th house and 11th house too. And also it naturally rules the 5th house of the zodiac, Leo. So it does pretty well in Leo, and obviously it does pretty well in houses of friends as well. But generally speaking, I don't really think Sun does so well in the 12th house. So I would question that really, just because it's the house, just the sort of planet that it should be full of integrity. So so here we are. So yeah, so it just shows that this is her second house ruler as well in the 11th house. So it obviously gives her big money, and it will be gains through things to do with Taurus, which is all the arts as well. So and we could definitely say that this is very true for her. And third house in Vedic astrology is very much to do with the entertainment world. Third house and fifth house, film, you know, is kind of self-expression. So she would probably be quite because Mercury is in good condition there in Venus's sign, is friendly with Venus. So yeah, so this is a lady who's actually very good at critically judge her work, you know, screen plays that she's got to be she's going to be working with. And you can see there's a like moon is 3 houses away from the sun, so you can see that during her conception the mother was running after that. I always like the sun being behind moon, particularly 3 houses. 3 houses is good. It just means that they're obviously having fun together. Third house is quite nice, quite like active and friendly towards each other and everything. Groups of friends doing jolly things together. But I think when she was actually conceived, there was like the mum was running after the son, you know, so maybe he wasn't as available. He was busy working or something. But you can definitely see that. So so it is a nice placement when they're 3 houses away from each other, but I would prefer the woman's. If this was like the other way around, sun was here, I would prefer that, because I think, oh yeah, you know, so it goes to show that in relationships she chases the men. So, and then have a look at the David Bowie. There's nothing wrong with running after the men, by the way, but I think in the traditional sense, it's probably the other way around. So here we have David Bowie. So he's a Capricorn ascendant, and his 8th house ruler in the 12th house. This actually creates what's called a Viprit Raj Yoga, where through all the difficulties, transformation, and losses, you'll get success when 6th, 8th, or 12th house or their lords are actually together. And I can tell you also that Mars being like 11th house ruler in the 12th house, he probably has had money issues where he has lost the gains that he has had somehow or other. And also K2 is in his 11th house as well. This is if this, you know, obviously this says 9 o'clock. So it could be wrong because not many people are born exactly at 9 o'clock, but we're just going to go with this just to see what we can see. So we have Sun in the 12th house. Yeah, that again, it goes to show that it could have been some issues with the father. Father maybe not present, maybe an unusual dad, maybe working away dad, something like that could be. Some secrets about the dad. Maybe he doesn't know everything about his father as well. The relationship between and also I can say categorically there's been some issues there, because the other thing is as well is Sun rules 8th house, obviously has gone into the 12th house. So there's a breakage with his care with his father. Also, this is the natural Sagittarius, natural 9th house of the zodiac. So, and it has 3 malefics there now, because Mercury, by association of 2 malefics, becomes malefic as well. So you can see that quite difficult there, you know, quite a lot of power struggles there. And the dispositor of the 3 planets, Jupiter, and Jupiter is not in very good condition itself. It's in Libra sign, which is a sign of enemy Venus. And so that kind of shows you a lot of stuff as well. So that's how I would see that. And because the relationship between Moon and the Sun, so how many houses from each other? So from the Sun to the Moon is 8 houses. From Moon to the Sun is 6 houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see that during the time that he was conceived, Mum and Dad didn't see eye to eye. There were problems there. There were some issues, you know, when he was being conceived. So you can definitely see that he has had those kind of issues with that, and you can also see that the mother wasn't on best terms. So it could actually be that, you know, that they were sort of breaking up at that point, or having very, very significant arguments at that time. So this is what I can see, and also because Mars is also aspecting the Moon as well, so it could have been quite sort of like difficult times there. So I'm going to stop sharing that. So it is really, really amazing when you see this. So when you have like 6 and 8 relationship between Sun and Moon in your own chart, you'll experience, after a while, you make better choices. So basically what this is saying is that 12 and 2 is the same. So when the Sun and Moon are behind each other, 1 house away, that can be difficult as well. So what I think happens there is it's very good to realize that it's absolutely fine. This is the situation you were born with, and this is what you know. So you might actually make decisions to have relationships with people who are addicted. 8th house addiction, 6th house, you're trying to fix them. And but then what you do, you learn to love yourself. You work on your Venus and you self-heal and self-love. And then after that, you make much more informed relationships. And the same thing as well, if you have like Sun and Moon together in D9, that will be like very important as well. So you can see in that if Sun and Moon are conjunct together in the D9, it means that it's a new moon. So you're new to relationships, and these things will just get better. You just have to have a few sort of goes before you know where things are. In fact, as I say this, shall we just have a quick look at their D9s and see how they progress? So this is David Bowie. So David Bowie, okay, so Moon, you can see the mum was Moon in the 7th, Sun in the 8th. So again, there's some secrets about the dad there. And yeah, so probably the females in his life have been chasing him because he's been unavailable or a bit addicted. So that's again quite, you know, but these things get better anyway with time. And I think he was really happy in his last relationship. And so you can see with Angelina Jolie, what happens is in relationships, she's looking for a really magnetic kind of attraction. Moon and Sun right opposite each other. That's what she goes for. So it also means that, you know, she could quickly come out of them as well when the attraction has gone, because that's what she's wanting. But there's always going to be that pull and push between her and her exes as well. So that's what she's attracted to. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.